Most people think NVIDIA is just a hardware company that sells graphics cards. They are wrong. NVIDIA isn't selling hardware. It's selling tickets to the future. Right now, there isn't a single company on this planet that has successfully gambled the entire trajectory of human civilization on one table quite like they have $2 trillion. That's not just a valuation. It's the result of a 30-year, high-stakes addiction to risk that never stopped. Today, we're talking about how the man in the leather jacket walked into a game everyone said he'd lose, and walked out with your entire future in his pocket. Flashback to 1993. This isn't a high-tech lab. It's a greasy Denny's in San Jose. Three guys are arguing over a paper napkin. Back then, in Silicon Valley, money was evaporating and ambition was screaming in the wind. Graphics processing? That was a niche market for fools. Computers were as slow as a brick, and these three lunatics wanted them to process complex 3D images in real time, just like a human brain. In this industry, if you aren't crazy, you're already dead. And Jensen Huang, he was the craziest of them all. If you flip through NVIDIA's official filings or listen to the cliches from Wall Street analysts, they'll spin you a heroic underdog story. They'll tell you NVIDIA invented the GPU, empowered gamers worldwide, and built an empire one frame at a time. The official line is, they are the gamer's best friend. They made the rain in Cyberpunk 2077 look real and turned esports into a global religion. Every cent they earned from selling those cards was supposedly polished with the glow of technical innovation. But remember, in the world of high finance, the official narrative is usually just a bedtime story told to retail investors. If you truly believe NVIDIA spent tens of billions on R&D just so you could play games with better lighting, you are dangerously naive. NVIDIA realized a dirty truth a long time ago. Those tiny circuits designed to render game characters actually possessed a power capable of destroying and rebuilding the entire global economic order. But while the world was cheering for the latest GPU benchmarks, there was one question no one dared to ask. Where did the chips actually go? Why, for 3 straight years, was it impossible for a normal gamer to buy a card at retail price? Why, while the global economy was bleeding out, were NVIDIA's profit margins higher than a drug cartel's? Don't let the leather jacket fool you. The gaming company was just a smokescreen. The perfect cover for a secret predatory plan that should make the rest of the world tremble. Let's talk about the one dirty secret NVIDIA hates detailing in its earnings calls: crypto. Between 2018 and 2021, graphics cards became the new hard currency. While NVIDIA was publicly claiming they were doing everything to protect gamers and limit mining, the data revealed a much uglier reality. They were dumping product directly to the warehouse doors of massive mining farms. NVIDIA hid hundreds of millions in crypto revenue, disguising it as gaming growth, just to keep their stock price on a perfect upward curve. Why? Because to Wall Street, gaming is stable, and crypto is a bubble. Jensen knew the game. He needed the bubble's money, but he couldn't let the bubble pop in his own hands. He weaponized gamer loyalty and exploited miner greed to pull off the greatest capital laundering scheme in tech history. But that was just the appetizer. When the crypto bubble finally burst, everyone lined up for NVIDIA's funeral. Warehouses were overflowing with unsellable, obsolete cards. Their stock price evaporated by 50% overnight. Wall Street analysts were already typing out the obituary. They said Jensen had over-leveraged, that NVIDIA would be the next Nokia, a relic of a vanished hype cycle. But what they didn't know was that this man had planted a time bomb 15 years ago. And in late 2022, something called ChatGPT reached out and pressed the detonator. To understand why NVIDIA is now untouchable, you have to look past the silicon. In 2006, Jensen made a bet that looked like corporate suicide. He poured billions into something called CUDA. At the time, investors hated it. It made his chips more expensive and harder to build. But Jensen wasn't building a product. He was building a cage. Today, every AI researcher, every data scientist, and every coder on the planet is addicted to CUDA. It's the only language AI speaks fluently. If you want to compete in the 21st century, you don't just buy NVIDIA hardware, you submit to their ecosystem. It's a digital monopoly so absolute it makes Standard Oil look like a lemonade stand. You aren't just buying a chip. You're paying rent to a landlord who owns the very air your software breathes. By 2023, the world went into a collective fever. The H100 chip became the most valuable resource on Earth. Forget gold. Forget oil. If you didn't have a stack of NVIDIA chips, your multi-billion-dollar tech company was essentially a museum. It was the peak of the frenzy. Companies were taking out massive loans just to get in line. Nations, actual sovereign countries, started stockpiling these chips like they were nuclear warheads. And in the center of the storm stood Jensen, calmly raising the prices. He wasn't just a CEO anymore. He was the arms dealer for a war where the only ammunition was compute. You might be sitting there thinking, I don't care about data centers or H100s. I just want to know when the next iPhone comes out. But here's the cold, hard truth. You're already paying the NVIDIA tax every single day. Every time you use an app, every time you see a targeted ad, every time your insurance company uses an algorithm to calculate your premium, you are paying for Jensen's $2 trillion gamble, and the cost is about to get a whole lot higher. Here's the question that keeps the smart money awake at night. Is AI actually making money, or is it just moving it around? Right now, big tech companies, Microsoft, Google, Meta, are funneling tens of billions of dollars into NVIDIA's pockets. They're doing it because they're terrified of being left behind. But eventually, these AI tools have to actually do something that generates profit. If the AI revolution doesn't start paying the bills soon, those multi-billion-dollar chip orders will stop. And if they stop, the entire stock market, which is currently being held up by NVIDIA's shoulders like a modern-day Atlas, will come crashing down. We are living in an economy built on the expectation of a miracle, and Jensen Huang is the only man selling the holy water. Jensen Huang didn't just build a better graphics card, he built a machine that forced the entire world to gamble on his vision. He turned a bankrupt company in a Denny's into the backbone of the global empire. But remember, in a gold rush, the only people who truly get rich are the ones selling the shovels. And Jensen just sold the world $1 trillion worth of shovels for a mine that might still be empty. The gamble changed everything. But the real question isn't how much NVIDIA is worth. It's what happens to us when the chips run out. If you think the AI war is scary, wait until you see who's actually controlling the energy that powers it. But that's a story for the next time.